But today we're going to be doing a little bit of a slower class again. Thank you, Helen. I've just got your message. Thanks. So I was saying in my newsletter earlier, even though we're moving more into the faster months and we're moving into a bit of picking up at the pace and feeling more energy around us in nature, and there's more sunlight, so you're feeling more energy from the sun as well. It's still so important to find that space to really drop inward and to slow down and find stillness and to find silence and ways to let your body recuperate, just by finding a bit of space to rest and to drop inward. So today that was the focus of the class, just to find revitalization by slowing down and by dropping in more. So that's the theme today, just to let yourself rest as much as you can. So not so much pushing yourself to the edges, but just letting yourself be where you're at today and really feel a rested mind, a rested body, a rested breath. So you're not really pushing yourself today. You're not pushing past anywhere that you need to go, and really letting yourself even drop into a lesser part of the stretch, so you're feeling more soft and relaxed rather than feeling more tensile in the stretches. And then we're going to do a nice long shavasana just to let the body really drop down. So we're going to start either in a seat or laying down, whatever feels more comfortable for you today. And I'll show you what we're doing for the mudra, just so you can see. If you need to check, sometimes it's easier to be more visual. It's a really beautiful mudra for bringing the body's nervous system down and calming. So you take a heart shape with the thumb and the index fingers together, and then the second finger, middle finger, touch and extend, and then the ring and the baby finger tuck down and under, so you're following on that heart shape at the back. It's called Kalisvara Mudra, and we're going to hold it just at the heart space. So just so you know what we're doing, and then I'll let you know when we're going to come into that mudra. So either coming into a seat or to lay down, and just let yourself come into a nice comfortable position. Ooh, just spotlight myself. So just take a moment to let yourself drop into the space that you're in, and just take up some space. So wherever you are on your seat, either letting your seat really spread, your legs connecting to the earth and feel like you're dropping down into the support of the floor and the cushion or the brick underneath your seat. Or if you're laying down, just letting your back really spread and take up as much space for your arms, through the shoulder blades. Let them really wiggle down and open your chest up a bit more. And then you can either have feet on the floor, knees bent, or legs out long, whatever is more comfortable for your lower back. And just start to gently close down through the eyes, taking your awareness and your attention inward. Taking a few moments to let yourself arrive in the space, arrive on your mat, and arrive in your body. Taking a couple of breaths in through the nose, and just sigh the breath out. Letting go of the day. Letting go of any need to plan or think about the future or the past. Just letting yourself come into this present moment. Take a moment to really drop into your physical sensation of the body. Taking stock of how your body's feeling in this moment right now. Your body's energy levels, the tone or the mood of your body. any physical sensations or any discomfort, any areas that feel really comfortable or relaxed, any areas that feel tight or restricted, anywhere that's particularly calling your attention. Just scanning through from your head to your feet. Becoming the observer, dropping into that witness state, into keen observation and observance. And then becoming aware of your breathing, noticing how the breath is moving it in through the lungs. Maybe finding any areas that can bring in a little bit more of the breath, of prana. Without forcing or pushing, struggling with the breath, just seeing if we can invite a little bit more into the body. Maybe a slower, longer exhale, dropping you further into the parasympathetic nervous system. And starting to really feel how the breath is flowing through your body. The wind of the breath moving you. Feeling the lightness that breath brings into the body. A very automatic response that we can become conscious and aware of. And as we start to become more aware of the breath and how it moves and how it feels and what's going on with it, is it feeling quite smooth or does it feel quite short and sharp? We start to really get a strong impression of what's going on in the mind, in the emotional states of the body as well. So we're just going to stay here for a couple more rounds of breath, just taking stock of where we're at with our breath. Dropping into the tone or the sensation the breath brings. And when something's automatic, it's a very natural and effortless way of being. But sometimes when we're stressed or if we're holding a lot of grief or panic or worry or pressures, this can really reflect in the breath. So we can start to really tap into what's happening on the inside just by simply watching and becoming aware of the breath. And the more we can become aware of the breath, the more we can then start to consciously alter the breathing state and the pace and the rhythm, the tone of the breath, the expansion of the breath. And once we start to alter that, we can then start to gently change the emotional states, the mental states, by soothing the breath and calming the breath and dropping it into the parasympathetic nervous system rather than into the autonomic and the sympathetic nervous system. We start to come into a more rested space when we drop into the PNS, and we start to feel that we're directly telling our body to come down a notch, that we're safe, that we can rest, we can heal, and we can relax. And this is how we can start to modify the body and start to really direct where we want to go in our lives, in our mindsets, in our emotional states, just by simply altering the breath. That's why it's so powerful, yet so subtle. We'll just take one more round of breath here, wherever you are. Always encouraging you to yawn, to sigh, to take huffs out, really let the breath be a nice release if you need. And then we can take Kalasvara Mudra, which again is taking the thumbs together, bending at the ring finger, the index finger to take a more heart shape. And then you take the middle finger together And the last two, ring and baby finger, make the following part of the heart shape. And then we can take that to rest, pointing outward from the heart space. So if you're laying on the floor, you can gently rest the elbows to the floor. And if you're seated, just resting the elbows into the waist. So we can start to then direct the breath through this mudra. Kalesvara is Lord of Time. So it's a really calming mudra to take whilst we carry on just following and watching the breath. Calmly abiding in the rhythm and the flow of our in and exhalations. So this really helps us to calm the mind, gain control over our thoughts and emotions. And Kalesvara, being Lord of Time, also brings us into life and death and cycles of time, of rhythms. And it helps us to overcome any changes, also any unwanted patterns or traits, behaviors. And it really shifts us from that monkey mind, that constant chatter and constant moving of the mind, constant evaluation, judgment, into a more self-observation, into a more aware mind, more conscious mind. You just allow yourself to breathe through this mudra. We're just going to be here for about a minute more. And really feel the effects of this powerful mudra. So as we take our hands into mudras, we connect the electromagnetic field and create a circuit. So this is why mudras are so powerful. It's because we're creating a new circuit and creating an image in which the body responds to, the nervous system responds to. And this circuit then starts to transition the mind, the emotional states, as the body takes in the frequency of what you're putting into your hands. And we're just taking 2 more rounds of breath here. Just taking our time, allowing the nervous system to respond. And then we can slowly take the hands into a prayer, or resting the hands just onto the heart space. If you're laying down, that might feel more comfortable. And take a moment to really set an intention for your practice today. So this could be the group class and intention. The theme of today of just coming into a calm, still space to allow ourselves to regenerate and to replenish, finding that revival through our stillness. Or whatever it is that you'd like to work on or to bring to your practice, or maybe even dedicate your practice to someone that needs the energy of what you're cultivating today. Just take a couple of moments and really breathe into your heart space and let an intention come. Just repeat a couple of times in your mind. And then if you're slowly on your back, you can stay as you are. If you're on a seat, you can gently start to blink your eyes open, and then we're going to come to lay down onto our back. So just move anything out to the side that you might be sitting on, and then we can make our way down slowly to the floor. So as you come down, just finding a nice long spine. Take the feet about hip width apart, and we're just taking the feet parallel to each other. So you've just got a gap between the knees, and then the arms can come out to the T shape just below the shoulders, so you feel nice and open through your arms and heart. Taking a couple of sways, massaging out the lower back very effortlessly, easily, just swaying through one side of the foot to the other, and allowing very gentle motion coming into the lower back. Feel a nice massage through your sacrum. Very gentle twisting coming through the spine, helping to ease out any residual tension from the day. And we're also getting a bit of a massage out through the sides of the hips. If you start to let your knees drop a little bit closer towards the floor, and this will start to stretch a little bit more into the back of the waist as well, slightly higher up the spine. Let your breath feel very effortless and easy. And if it feels nice, you can let your legs come all the way down to the floor as you exhale, and as you inhale, come to center, and exhale to take the twist to the opposite side. So you're just moving a little bit slower if that feels nicer, to just take the practice down a notch. And really move with your breath so it becomes more of a meditation. We're just practicing in a way that feels really beneficial for you today. So we're just taking one more to each side, and then we can slowly bring that back to a still point. We're going to come into a one leg recline twist. So we can start by bringing the right knee into the chest, hold around the shin and give the leg a nice big squeeze into the body. Try to relax the shoulders, relax the chest, and then you can stretch your left leg out long. Just resting that there. If you've got any cushions handy, you might want to use it as you take the twist across. So we're going to take the right leg across the body, and it might feel nice to rest that leg onto a brick or onto a cushion. Or if it goes all the way to the floor, you can take a bit of a deeper twist. It might help you to shift your left hip a little bit further back and really roll onto the left side of your leg. Your left leg is completely relaxed, and then you can start to shuffle through the shoulders. So you want to try to get this right shoulder blade down onto the floor, and maybe it might feel nice to look over your right shoulder. We're going to be here for about 2 minutes each side, so just gently warming up the spine. Let your body really relax and rest into it. So try not to hold or grip through any muscles. If it helps you to relax more, really support yourself through any bricks underneath the leg, any cushions, maybe a blanket underneath the shoulder blade. Get yourself into a really comfortable space. And then as you breathe in, just letting the breath massage the organs in the belly. Allow your exhale to just gently let you shift a little bit more through the tissues to drop further into the twist. As we come through the twist, we're allowing the spine to wring out. This helps to release a lot of tension that we may hold physically, where we've been standing up or seated all day. The spine bears a lot of weight, so just by taking a very simple twist like this, it allows a bit of tension to wring out from the body physically, and also then from the mind and the emotions. Also helps to realign the spine. And we're also tapping into the nervous system, which is housed through the spinal column. So as we bring out, we just gently bring ourselves into the parasympathetic nervous system. We're taking 2 more rounds of breath on this side. Just take your time. And then if you looked over your right shoulder, you can gently bring the head back to center. Use your left hand and your right hand to gently guide yourself back onto your back with your next inhale. And then bring your feet flat to the mat. Shift your hips back into the center. Maybe lift your head, neck, shoulders to realign the spine. And then we can bring the left knee into the chest. Give that a nice squeeze, relaxing the shoulders. Taking your right leg out long. Nice big stretch through the hip flexor. And then you can take the leg over and any props over to your right side. Again, it might feel nice to shift onto the side of your right hip, shuffling through the shoulders, just taking your arm, the left arm out to the side, wherever feels comfortable, and then you can gently gaze over your left shoulder. Try to release any holding. Try to let the weight of your body just drop into all of the support beneath you. Use a nice full breath, an effortless breath. Just paying attention to any areas that naturally tense in you. See if you can find a bit more softening through these areas. So maybe through the eyebrows or through the jaw, through the sides of the hips, even the toes and the fingers. See if you can really relax your body, relax the shoulders, relax the heart space. And just let your breath flood into the body. Just here for 1 more minute. Taking 2 more rounds of breath, taking your time here. And then with your next inhale, you can gently look back to center, slowly guiding yourself back onto the back of the body. And we can bring the spine into alignment again, taking the feet flat to the mat. Just realign the hips, realign the head, neck, shoulders. And take a moment to pause in a neutral spine. Maybe it might feel nice to bring the knees into the chest and take some back rolls to massage the back body. Or it might feel nice to just sway the feet and knees side to side again. If you'd like to massage a little bit deeper into the back of the waist, bring the knees to the chest, lift your head, neck, shoulders off of the mat, and then you can use your elbows to push you side to side. This is a really nice one if you get any mid-back tension. Just taking a minute here before we come onto our front. Nice. We're going to roll over onto our side and then come over onto our front, moving into Sphinx from here. So if you wanted to take a little bit of a softer Sphinx pose, you might want to take some cushions and bring that underneath your chest, just to give you a bit of a support without having to work so hard through the muscles in the shoulders and the upper back. If you work at a desk as well, it's quite nice to really take support underneath your chest. And we can then take a prayer with the hands and rest the third eye point onto the thumbs, just to let the head, neck, shoulders relax. If you don't want to work with any support under you, it might feel nice to take the elbows slightly further away from the body, so you've got more space through the armpit and then also through the upper back. It won't be as strong or as intense of a back bend. If you want to increase it a little bit, you can bring the prayer more towards the throat or the heart space. Trying to really relax through the legs, let the feet fall in or out, whatever feels more comfortable for your lower back. I'm just taking another 4 minutes here. So encouraging you to shut down through the eyes and start to draw your attention, awareness into the body. So a back bend is a stimulation of the kidneys, and it also helps to invite the Jing essence into the body. So we're stimulating the prana and the chi flow to flood through the rest of the body. So if you're feeling quite tired or a little bit drained, Sphinx is a really lovely pose to just stimulate that Jing energy and essence to flood through the body again. Also helping the body to detox as we're compressing into the kidneys, in the mid-back, just at the bottom of the floating ribs. Helping with fresh blood flow. And we're also stimulating the nervous system to come more into the sympathetic response. As we come into a back bend, it gently stretches and pressurizes the spinal column. So as we come out of any back bends, we want to come out slowly and gently and give ourselves time to really rest after we've done any back bending work because of the sympathetic response. You're halfway through. If you need to modify or add any props or come down lower, maybe might feel more comfortable, or if you can find a little bit more length and space in the spine, maybe coming up a little bit higher. You can also practice seal if that's in your practice and it feels good for you to stretch a little bit deeper through the spine. You just want to keep the pelvis grounded and connected to the earth. So we're feeling just a nice lengthening through the spine, but no additional stress in the body. Notice how the breath feels in the space. Try to find a dropping sensation, so you're really letting the body let go, to drop any holding, drop any thoughts. Just coming back into that observation of the body, of the breath. Noticing what's arising physically, mentally, emotionally. Allowing yourself for that space of stillness, that calm. Just calmly abiding in our body, in our practice. Coming through the last 45 seconds. You can take your last round of breath here in Sphinx, and then if it feels good for you to either come just to rest it, you can make a pillow with your hands. Maybe it might feel nice to bring one knee up and turn your face to the same side. Or you can also push back into a child's pose, whichever feels more beneficial for you. Just taking a rebound here to let your body come back into neutral. Just transitioning slowly over when you're ready. Notice how the body's feeling as you're in your rebound, what's arising, if anything's shifting or changing. Just taking 2 more breaths. And then wherever you are, we're going to make our way into all four. So just taking your time to press up onto your hands and knees. And we're going to come through some cat-cows. So just taking up a nice big space for your hands, for your knees. And then you can start to dip through the back, lifting the tailbone and the gaze up to the ceiling as you come through your cow. Just a little bend into the elbows. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, start to round through the spine, just dropping tailbone towards the floor, tucking chin to chest, and really arch through your spine. Draw the belly button back to the spine. And moving at your own pace, as you inhale, you're opening the front body, compressing the back body. And as you exhale, you're opening the back body and compressing the front body. Nice, taking 3 more rounds of breath here in your own time. Maybe taking any movements or pauses that feel nice, wiggles, rolls. And then coming into a neutral space, we're going to shift ourselves towards the top end of the spine, of the mat. And if you've got some cushions, it's going to be helpful. If you take one cushion to the top and then a longer pillow behind you, so we're coming into, just bring the sit bones in front of that. I'll show you other options as well, but this is the optimal one for just letting yourself rest backwards. We want to bring the heels just to the outside edge of your hip. And if that's too strong on the knees, I'll show you another option, but we're trying to bring the knees slightly together and the heels are just on the outside edge of the hip. And then we can slowly take the spine back to rest onto your bolster, your pillow, your cushion. If you have maybe 4 cushions behind you, stacked 2 on 2, that's perfect. Or you can also work with some bricks if you have those. So you can bring 1 brick flat and then another brick higher up behind the head. So you're just resting one behind the back of the heart and then position the other one just to support the back of your head. If you feel comfortable to work through saddle without any support, you can also come straight down to the mat. Just coming down to the elbows first and then reclining all the way back. That's quite strong though, so just finding a position there that feels more comfortable. And if that's not good at all, you can come to lay on your front again. And you can work just to grab the tops of the feet and bring the feet in towards the body. So I'd recommend taking a brick so you can rest your forehead onto the brick. And then we're working to just gently bring the feet in towards the sit bones. If you can't bring yourself through here, or that feels a little bit too much, we can also take a child's pose if that feels more beneficial for you today. So finding whichever version of saddle or taking child's pose, whichever feels good for you today. We're going to be here for another 3 minutes. So really find a position that's going to let you rest completely. So yesterday, I'm not sure if anybody saw, but we had a really beautiful moon, a super full moon. It's in Libra. And I just wanted to read you a little bit out about what it is that these energies of this moon are bringing to us. So we've moved into Aries in the first house, in the sun, and the moon, which is a super full moon, a worm moon, is in Libra. And the Libra full moon is a sign of love, balance and harmony. The sign of the scales is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty. And that teaches us to appreciate all that we are and all that we can be, to look at ourselves through the eyes of self-acceptance and love, and to be the best version of ourselves. Libra is a peacekeeper with kindness, compassion, and true altruism at the forefront of their being. But on the shadow side of this, Libras can struggle with confrontation and fail into a people-pleasing trap. So this full moon calls us to identify with the habits that are non-serving, heal the parts of us that need work, and also to create better boundaries to ensure that we don't hurt parts of ourselves, to help others or detract from our own goals and dreams. Sometimes it's okay and important to say no, and sometimes we have to put ourselves first in order to show up and be more present for the people close to us later on. Quality over quantity. We're also looking at this full moon to release pain of the past, to find compassion, patience, forgiveness, the courage to find balance and harmony in relationships to the self, to others, and within our community. To really control and stabilize our emotions, to find determination, and also to find reflection over action. So if you've got a moment this evening, I'd really recommend that you go out and have a look at the moon. It's absolutely beautiful. It's really big, massive energy. And just take a few moments to really reflect on what it is that you're working towards at the moment. How can you really bring that determination in to push forward with your goals and serve yourself primarily and first and foremost before catering to the needs of everybody else around you? How can you then serve yourself in order to serve more fully in your community, to the people that are closest to you in your family? We're just here for 20 more seconds, just taking a few more moments to really drop into the position that you're in. If you need to come out, always let yourself come out slowly and gently whenever you need. We're just here for 2 more rounds of breath. So if you're on your front, you can release your legs and maybe just take a rested position on your front. Or maybe it might feel nice to push back into a child's pose or roll onto your back and just take a moment to rest on your back. And if you're on saddle, just prep yourself slowly to come up by squeezing the core, tucking chin to chest, pushing onto your forearms and elbows, and then slowly as you inhale, lift yourself up to come to a seat. And then we can take the hand to the side, gently spin the legs to the side and come into a seated position. It might feel nice to lean back into the hands and arms and stretch the legs out, maybe roll the feet in and out. Or it might feel nice to take some knee sways or also lay flat down on your back, whatever feels good. Nice, so we can move when you're ready, all of the props out to the side. We're going to come to lay nearer to the wall. So if you keep a blanket handy, if you have a flatter cushion or a flatter brick, you can also use that. So just keep that handy. And we're first of all going to practice with a butterfly up against the wall. So if you shift yourself a little bit closer towards your wall space, you want to bring your hip up to the wall. And then you can slowly slide yourself round as you bring your legs up the wall. And then as much as you can, shuffle so that your sit bones are connected to the wall. If you have really tight hamstrings, take a little bit of space away from the wall so you've got a little bit more room. And then we can take butterfly. So soles of the feet are coming together and knees are going to come apart. You can use your hands to support your knees, so elbows are rested to the floor. And we're just gently supporting the knees here. Or if it feels nicer, you can gently press onto the knees to open the hips a little bit more. Or just stay wherever feels comfortable. So the further away the feet, the less of a stretch it's going to be. And the closer the feet are in towards the body, the more intense the stretch is going to be through the groin. So again, in butterfly, we're stimulating the kidney meridian line. So we're working to really distribute the Jing essence and the vital life force around our body, helping to move us out of stress, to move us deeper into a space of detoxifying, to releasing, purifying, letting go, but also bolstering and strengthening the body through this Jing essence. The kidneys are our powerhouse. They house this Jing essence. So when we start to really tap into the kidney meridian line and the kidney system, we're really helping to support the body energetically to balance, harmonize, and to revive. Also, as we've got the legs a little bit higher up than the heart space, this is helping the blood flow to come back down. So we get a flush of energy, blood flow, chi through the kidneys, and this is going to help also to really improve that flow of chi around the body. Nice way to let the heart relax, and it helps us to drop the blood pressure, helps us to naturally let the heart relax a little bit more as the effort is not so needed from the heart to pump the blood back up from the legs. We're just here for about another minute and a half. Just bringing your awareness back to your body, back to this moment. There's absolutely nothing that you need to be planning or doing or thinking about other than letting your body just rest and to drop into the space that you're in here now. There's nothing to be worrying about, to be planning, to be ruminating over. You've done everything that you need to do for the day. You've done as much as you need to have done. All is perfect as it is. You can just take this moment to really let yourself rest, because you deserve to rest. So we're going to transition into another shape using the wall. So you can slowly use your hands to bring the knees back to a more central position. And then we're going to take a squat against the wall. So if you just take your feet flat to the wall, so your knees are bent. I quite like to take my feet quite wide, and then I just support my knees again with my hands. So my legs are completely rested, but I'm getting the compression through the hips and a nice opening into the groin. If you want to make it a little bit stronger, just pull the feet closer down towards the body. That's going to make it a bit more intense, and it will compress the back more to the floor. So you're going to get a bit more of a stretch in the spine. And it might feel nice for you to take your arms up over the head. So you're really opening and lengthening the torso through the arms, the spine. And if that's too much, you just take the feet higher up. So just find wherever feels good for you in your squat against the wall. And you can let the belly really expand in this one. Let the breath feel nice and full all the way down into the pelvic floor. Letting the breath do the work to help you stretch deeper, to release any tightness, tension around the pelvis, around the groin, around the sides of the hips, the lower back. Very key areas that we find a lot of stress and tension. And the more that we can drop and release this tension, this holding, this gripping, the more we can move into a calm physical space. And then this also starts to let the mind, the nervous system, the emotional system calm down and come into a more serene, tranquil space. So there's nothing that we don't do to the body that will affect the mind and the emotions, and the same way around. Sometimes it's easier to change the mind when we change the body. And sometimes it's easier to change the body when we really work on the mind and work on the emotions. So just noticing how it feels as you move into this different shape, if anything's coming up for you. And just see if you can find again relaxation, resting. Really let yourself sink and drop. Just here for 30 more seconds. So taking your last round of breath here, and then we can slowly start to, with our next inhale, use the hands maybe, if that helps to keep that softness, to bring the legs back to central. And then you can start to take the legs straight up. So we're coming into legs at the wall. So you can either have legs straight up, or you can come to a more wider leg position if you've got the space, and that feels nicer to keep moving to the inner leg line. So keep them working down this space here. We're gonna stay with the kidney meridian line in both, either wide leg or legs up, as we start to stretch the back of the legs. This is working into the gallbladder. So if it feels nicer for you to take the hips a little bit higher, you can maybe bring a blanket underneath your sacrum, your lower back, or bring the cushion. So if you just bend your knees, lift your hips up higher, place that underneath your lower back, and then that just encourages a bit more of a flow down, helps to release any tightness in the lower back as the hamstrings too. And then the arms, if they're comfortable out to the side, they can stay there, or overhead might feel nice, or it might even feel good to come back into the mudra that we were taking at the beginning, Kalisvara. Or just rest in the hands and the heart and the belly. Whatever brings you into more calmness, more relaxation, more rest. And just noticing how the blood is gently coming back down through the legs, into the kidneys, back to the heart. Let the muscles in the legs relax. Try to feel no holding. You're just sinking, dropping, relaxing. So we're here for just one more minute. So if you're quite comfortable as you are, you can stay in this posture for up to 20 minutes. So if you feel good as you are, you can stay with the legs up the wall. If you want to come into Shavasana, which is where we're going next, we can slowly start to bring your knees into the chest. Just take a moment before you roll onto your side. And then from there, you can gently press yourself up to a seat and make your way into your Shavasana. It might feel nice to take a blanket underneath the head, some cushions underneath the feet or underneath the backs of the knees. And maybe a blanket, you might want an eye pillow. Wherever you are, just let yourself come into the most comfortable and rested place that you can be. Through the arms, the legs, the spine, the head. And inviting you just to take a few rounds of breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the mouth, out through the nose. And repeating in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the mouth, out through the nose. Just equalizing breath, just letting yourself come back down again into a very balanced, calm, harmonious space. Let all of the muscles drop any holding. And really tune into all the points of contact with the floor. And see if you can spread those points, feel more heavy through those points, and let yourself really be held and supported by the earth beneath you. Feel a deep letting go through the heart space and through the stomach, through the organs. Letting your breath feel very effortless and easy. And just allowing your mind to drop any thoughts, any processing, drop any worries, inviting you to drop any need to be in the mind. And just let yourself become the breath. Fluid, expansive, light and soft, smooth, very natural. Keep allowing yourself to find that softening, that relaxation, that letting go. It's about coming alive. It's about waking up to the grace inherent in every moment. It's about unconditional friendliness and infinite kindness to yourself. It's about making it safe, finally safe for all of those unloved, unmet, unseen waves of the ocean of yourself to crawl out the depths, out the darkness, out of the corners and holes and crevices of experience and come into the light, blinking and full of wonder. It's about giving birth to yourself so that all thoughts are finally allowed to flood in, all sensations, all feelings, all sounds, all those waves that we used to label dark or evil or negative, or dangerous or sinful, fear, anger, boredom, doubt, confusion, frustration, helplessness, are finally allowed to come to rest, to breathe, to be fully themselves in the space that you are. They are not separate entities or enemies. They are intimate appearances of you, and so they cannot hurt you, even if they hurt. And this is what we forget sometimes in our rush to fix or at least normalize ourselves. Yes, all those swirling, pulsating energies of that which we call life are welcome in the unlimited room that you are. The vast living room in which all of creation sings and dances and paints itself into the ever-changing picture of this extraordinary moment. By Jeff Foster. So my invitation for you today is just to take a little bit more time for yourself to rest here as you are, and to let yourself drop a little bit further into your relaxation for as long as you need. So today I'm going to just finish the class here without you needing to get up or move or do anything. So I'm just offering you my gratitude. Thank you so much for practicing. Let yourself rest for as long as you need. Take your time, you don't need to move at all. And I'll see you next week. If you've got anything you need to let me know, or you want to chat about, you know where I am, either Facebook, or you can drop me an email or WhatsApp if you've got my number. Much love, thank you.